Well, hot diggity daffodil, let's get this little show on the road. Good morning. I am Graham Mosimann, and I am so gosh darn excited to be here with you as the very first host of what I'm sure will be many wonderful, talented people on the Game On Network's new daily hockey show, Game On Hockey. Now, this is kind of like the ESPN Daily or the New York Times Daily podcast. We really want to get you everything that you need to know in about a 10-minute blob so you can get up to date on everything that happened last night in the world of hockey. Now, of course, we're going to have a focus on the NHL and all of the Canadian teams, but that doesn't mean we're going to be ignoring things like the PWHL or college hockey or major junior, everything to do with the world of hockey we are going to cover on this show in a quick little 10-minute blob so you don't have to listen to hours upon hours of other podcasts or AM radio to feel like you are up to date on everything in the world of hockey. So let's get going. Why don't we? If you, however, would like to be a sponsor of this or any of the wonderful shows we'll have across the Game Over Network, please reach out to us. We have lots of space. We'd love to work with like small indie companies that are very similar to ours and try to build your audience and build stuff for your businesses and kind of keep this small indie media thing going, because I'm gonna tell you, we're real small. We're just a little guy trying to make some waves in the media space and really help you get connected with the game and the sport that you and I both love in a way that's not the old clunky media way that we have been getting so used to dealing with. So if you'd like to sponsor this show or any of the others, please reach out whenever. We'll be here. So let's start off with the official first day of the National Hockey League season. Yeah, I know Buffalo and New Jersey did their thing in the Global Series, but that was on the weekend. That was weird. I'm happy for those fan bases, but let's face it, everything really got going this afternoon with the St. Louis Blues and the Seattle Tentacle team as the Kraken ripped off a really quick two-goal lead before crumpling like an octopus left out on the sand. They eventually falling to the St. Louis Blues by a score of 3-2. Now, if you're an Oilers fan, oh boy, those offer sheets that were so fun and exciting to debate when they were all the rage when they first got announced between Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. Yeah, both those guys ended up on the score sheet, so I'm sure Oilers fans will be very stoked about that, as the Oilers not matching those two players, and they head off to St. Louis. Philip Broberg scoring the second goal of the game, with the first one coming from an absolute ripper off the stick of Jordan Kyrou. Philip Grubauer for the Tentacle Boys, by the way, not looking awesome. Jordan Kyrou having two goals in that game, and he'll be your fantasy league leader if you're playing in a pure goals and points league. Because look, maybe this is just a me thing. Category leagues are weird. Like, it's so strange to me, and I get the idea is to like test your knowledge of hockey to see who's good at face-offs as opposed to goals. But like, yeah, the exciting thing about hockey is scoring all the goals. It's very fun. And weighing those the same as someone winning faceoffs or getting penalties has always been weird to me. So, hi, don't mind me, the big cat league faceoff hockey hater. Anyway, back to the Seattle Tentacle Boys. Jordan Eberle was named the second captain in Seattle Tentacruel history, because the Kraken have been without a captain since Mark Giordano was traded off for picks a couple of years back. Heading off to a game that I'm kind of shocked even happened at all, a 6-4 final in favor of the Florida Panthers. That definitely flattered the Boston Bruins a little bit, because the Panthers kind of took them to the woodshed and celebrated their Stanley Cup win, which was awesome and cool and really fun to watch. Woo. It was weird that this game was happening at all, though, with the Hurricane Milton situation. Now, this could have a further effect on hockey this weekend, as Tampa is opening up their season against Carolina on Friday. There's supposed to be a home and home playing back in Tampa on Saturday, but depending on the hurricane situation, who knows if that'll happen at all. So Tampa might end up playing two games back to back in Carolina to start their season. But this game still went ahead, and Florida, winning by a score of 6-4. Sam Bennett scored a couple of goals, alongside tallies from Jonah Gadjevich, Sam Reinhart, Evan Rodriguez, and Eetu Luosterainen. Now, Sam Reinhart is not scoring another 60 goals this year. We're just accepting. We know that's not going to happen, right? Because, let's face it, he scored on almost a 25% shooting percentage last year. Call me a crazy person, but something about that seems slightly unsustainable. Now, Pavel Zacha, Charlie McAvoy, Trent Frederick, and David Pastrnak all snagged goals for the Bruins. The Jonas Corposalo taking the net. Jeremy Swayman still not quite up to playing speed after signing his new deal with the Bruins. Now, can we talk about Stanley Cup banners for a quick sec? Because Florida raised up theirs, and it's like, I don't know. It's pretty lame. I'll be totally honest. It's not. How do you say? It's not good. So let's take a look here. So you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, the Panthers banner is just a Stanley Cup, Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions 2024. It is astonishingly boring and pedestrian. But comparing it to some of the other banners that we've seen over the years, Vegas had absolutely the best one of pretty much all of them. So they had their banner came out of a freaking slot machine. Are you kidding me? That's so cool. It had these two giant golden sigils on the side and said Stanley Cup champions and that very kind of audacious and loud Vegas font. It was so silly, but cool and extremely Vegas. And then you have the Colorado Avalanche from their Cup win doing whatever this is, which is just the Avs logo, which is a bad logo. I'm sorry, Avalanche fans. I'm an Oilers fan. I know our logo sucks. The Avalanche logo, also not great, but they have this weird cursive writing on it. I don't know. The Florida Panthers banner, you could have done a lot better, Florida. Be more creative with your stuff. Jeez. Anyway, we wrap up our trip around the NHL with a stint in Utah as the hockey club play their very first game ever. And Dylan Guenther, if you were on Twitter for any of this game, you would have seen that every single hockey insider had the exact same tweet. Trivia answer, Dylan Guenther scores the first goal in Utah hockey history. Now, Oil Kings fans here in Edmonton, super stoked about that one. Of course, Dylan Guenther and Edmonton Oilers, Oil Kings draft pick, Less excited are Vancouver Canucks fans. You could have drafted him, Vancouver. You could have, but you didn't. And he goes to Arizona, now Utah, scores 2 goals in the very first game as the hockey club takes a 5-2 win over Chicago. And the atmosphere in Salt Lake City looked really good. Even if the arena was pretty janky, some of the seats you could only see half the rink itself. It definitely had some Barclays Center vibes from when the Islanders played there. So who knows if we're going to end up seeing an SUV. Can't wait to see a new Honda Pilot hang out in the corner of a Utah Hockey Club game in the near future. That's going to wrap us up for a quick little stint around the NHL. If you'd like to sponsor the show, again, please reach out to us here over at the Game Over Network. And that's kind of it. That's what the show is going to be every single day. So in case you missed any of the hockey from the night before, which is totally understandable, you're probably very busy and there's so much happening. We're going to try to condense it all in an under 10-minute segment here on Game on Hockey. That'll do it for me. I'm Graham Mosimann. We will see you back here tomorrow for the second edition of Game on Hockey.